to introduce my buddy. I want to introduce my friend, if you don't mind. Terry, can I introduce? Okay. I want to introduce Senator Brown. You know, one of the things about the love about Senator Brown, we're like kindred spirits because we understand together that you don't have a middle class and you don't have an economy unless you make things and grow things. And that's what we do. That's what we do in Michigan, that's what we do in Ohio, and there's nobody that fights more for making things and growing things and doing it the right way than Senator Brown. As I said, he was integral to this whole process and getting this done, a strong, consistent voice for the right values, and it's great to be in your state.
Looks good in front of that Ohio
I didn't notice that.
Where's
the Michigan flag?
Yeah. Michigan flag.
Man, where's the
Michigan and Michigan State when we were in here so much. Senator Stabenow and Jerry, thank you for the terrific work that you do in Columbus and for the state. All of you here from Michigan are really lucky, particularly since you care so much about conservation, to have Debbie Stabenow as your senior senator, and even more so to have the chair of the Senate Agriculture Committee represent you. And you know, typically, and I don't know Senate history all the way back, but typically the chair of this committee, not always, but so often has been a Southerner that bring to the table a focus on rice and sugar and cotton, and then cotton and sugar and rice and rice and sugar and cotton, and don't really think a lot about the most important, not quite here, but the most important body of fresh water in the world, and don't think enough, don't see the world sort of through these incredible Great Lakes. And Debbie's state, I guess, borders 4 of the 5, right?
Well, actually, no, we touch all 5.
You touch all 5, okay. So we only have 1, but we have the best one, but nonetheless we have 1. We also have, as you know, the one that's the shallowest, and it's right not far from here. That's why, obviously, we have a unique set of problems that when the mayor came in and so ably testified in the Senate Ag Committee just a month or so ago, he addressed that, the 30 feet deep and what came together in such a tragic way less than a year ago because of climate change, because of lack of investment, underinvestment in infrastructure, because this society doesn't pay enough attention to conservation because of runoff from farms and businesses and homes and industry and commercial establishments. All of that came together in such a tragic way. I was talking on the way over to a gentleman that works for a radio station in Northwest Ohio, not Toledo, but nearby. And he said, I can't believe how, they usually don't editorially comment like this off the air, but he said, I can't believe how quickly all this came together. And you look at the government's role in safe drinking water, and it's been a pretty impressive role. It's impressive because, as Senator Stabenow said, you've got, in this case, 46 groups coming together. And what all of you have done is so very, very, very impressive. And I think people that don't live in, Ohio's a complicated state in many ways, but from sort of here east to Ashtabula, where my wife grew up, through Sandusky and Cleveland and Lorain and Cleveland and all the way to Ashtabula, if you live within 50 or 100 miles of the lake, you think about the lake a lot. I'm always intrigued. Somebody lives within 5 miles of the lake, they can always tell you which way north is without even seeing the lake. I've never really quite understood that, but it seems. But nonetheless, it really is so impressive how you've all come together and what you've done, what you've gotten the government to do, the EPA and the USDA, what you've gotten your elected officials to do. And this wouldn't have happened. The mayor and the chair of the Senate Ag Committee and I would not have happened in the same way if it hadn't been for the engagement and the quick responses of so many of you. And I still will always remember Paul is here from the Lake Erie, the lake captains, and to the charter boat captains. And I will never forget the meeting in my office maybe 5 years ago, sitting around talking about their love of the Great Lakes and what it means to not just their work lives, but their personal lives, their family. It's not just recreation, it's just the incredible resource of these great lakes. And all of you think that way, and all of you have come together in such an important way. And while all of this was caused, again, by climate change, by underinvestment in infrastructure, by runoff, by all of that, this announcement today is addressing a major cause of this, and we must stop runoff before it starts. And whether it's filter strips or whether it's whether it's planting crops as cover, what cover crops, and all the other conservation approaches that we are encouraging agriculture to use under the Farm Bill and in other ways. I remember a meeting that Debbie, before she was chair of the committee, but was about to become that, back in 2010. She was in when the chair of the committee was leaving the Senate and she was going to be next. I remember we had a meeting in Cleveland, and she, at that point, I said, where are we going with the conservation titles? And she already had a sort of a view, she had a view of this to bring these programs together. And not just to eliminate duplication, but most importantly to make them more effective. And that's really what we were able to do in this Farm Bill. And to put money in it, as you may know, we ended bipartisanly amendment I worked on with the senator from South Dakota. We ended the direct farm subsidies that really made no fiscal or political or policy sense. Some of that money ended up in conservation. Some of that money went back to taxpayers. But just the vision Debbie has had to really make sure that through the Regional Conservation Partnership Program and EQIP and other kinds of conservation programs, we are so much moving in the right direction. It's good for our cities, it's good for agriculture, it's good for taxpayers, and it means that we're going to stop the runoff before it starts, so that this tragedy that happened in Toledo well less than a year ago doesn't happen to any Great Lakes cities and doesn't happen to any communities around this great country. So. Debbie, again, thank you. Mayor, thank you, especially all of you as activists that care so much. To walk in here and see the enthusiasm and the work that you all do is so very, very impressive.